My name is Ulli Samuelsson, and I'm an assistant professor in education at School of Education and Communication, Jönköping University. I will have a presentation called Support for Digital Inclusion Among Elderly Persons, a Complex Challenge. The background to my presentations are from two different data collections. There are statistics from a postal questionnaire from the autumn 2020 and observations from autumn 2019. These research are funded by the Kamprad Family Foundation. If we start with some statistic about digital inclusion among Swedish seniors, we could see that 69% are daily internet users. 60% of the women never use the internet, and 14% of the men never use the internet. So there's only very small gender difference. 5% of the seniors aged 65 to 74 never use the internet. So there is an age difference, you can see. 29% of the seniors aged 75 to 90 never use the internet. When it comes to this, it could be relevant also to talk about the COVID effect. Is it false or true? There has been reports in Sweden about the COVID effect on digital inclusion among elderly people. We could see that, the internet inclusion had increased among the high educated more than among the low educated when it comes to the older age groups. Worth to notice is also that there is an age effect among the low educated, but not among the high educated. The main reason for not using the internet in Sweden, as in many other countries, is that people feel that they manage well without it. When it comes to how people learn how to use IT and different digital devices, you can see that among the youngest, those aged 65 to 74, quite a lot of those had been taking some kind of IT education through their workplace. We have also asked who those seniors often ask to learn more about digital technology. And you can see that the family has quite an impact on these. So those who have children are quite keen to ask the children to learn more. But there are also quite many that learn through the internet. Leaving that statistics in the background, I will continue to introduce you to my friends, those who I met at the public library. I have a background as an ICT educator in the 1990s. And then I experienced people struggling to learn how to use computers and different software. At that time, the devices more or less looked the same and they worked the same. Today, technical development has made it both more comfortable and more challenging to educate, to support and to be a skilled user. Today's devices are made to be personalized and have an entirely unfamiliar interface to some users. During my observations at a local support center for digital inclusion at a public library, I met a lot of people that gave me insight about the complexity and the need for what we call warm experts. A person that cares for the person in front of him or her, that's a warm expert. Let's start with Anna. Anna enters the support center with confidence and a clear goal. She has a personal charm, and even if she is one of the less frequent visitors at the support center, it is noticeable that she is used to social context and is easy to get in touch with. Anna is quite a skilled and frequent user of digital devices and digital applications. However, she shows up now and then, which means that she appreciates this kind of support. Her working life is less than 10 years back, and she is still living a very active life. Anna uses her digital skills to manage her daily activities and different commissions. The note application in her smartphone is a valuable function, and she uses it instead of pen and paper. Her attitude and her questions reveal a person that is used to seek new knowledge and not just to get help to solve a problem. Anna wants to learn more, and it could be about how to make a nice poster for a concert or how to copy and save her recipes more efficiently. Even if she doesn't always have the right concepts, she knows that what she wants to do and could describe it very precisely. The Open Support Center offers Anna an opportunity to learn about a specific issue without any obligations or cost. My next friend is Beryl. In many ways, Beryl reminds of Anna. She's skilled, confident, and social active. What sets them apart is Beryl's less interest in learning. When she encounters a digital problem, she wants it solved, and that is enough. Beryl knows that digital devices, software, and application doesn't always work as expected. It doesn't bother her or makes her stress as long as she got the problem solved. While Anna sits down, takes notes, and asks attendant questions, Beryl leaves as soon as the problem is solved. If it happens again, she will just come back. And here comes Celia. Celia, the insecure user who is afraid of making mistakes. She is the most common visitor. It is not uncommon for her to come up with well-written questions that she wants to be answered. The more Celia I study, the clearer it becomes that their fear of making mistakes is linked to ignorance. It becomes a catch-22 when this ignorance leads to more mistakes being made and problems arising. The lack of knowledge also means that Celia likes to listen to others and take part in media reports, entirely uncritically. The support creates opportunities for Celia to reduce problems and increase knowledge. It's not uncommon for her to have already sought help elsewhere. Where she bought her equipment, she was greeted by a stressed salesman who quickly tried to solve her problem without her understanding what was being done. She felt like a technical issue and not a learning human. At the bank, standing at a desk in an entrance, Celia was told that it's not only a bank ID that needs to be updated, but also your operating system. And as Celia herself put it, you get a little bit blocked. Celia's lack of knowledge is not always the problem. Sometimes it's the equipment that has become too old. Sometimes it's apps and softwares that are not user-friendly. She needs to gain insight into the difference between a poorly designed service and her own ignorance. This is Doris. She is a very inexperienced user and comes with her newly purchased smartphone or tablet. She has realized that it's difficult to cope without digital technology and feels forced to keep up. Doris gets help to start using her smartphone or tablet, but she's recommended to take a course to learn more. In the meeting with Doris, it is very much about encouraging her to dare to test and not to be afraid of making mistakes. Even if she wants to be able to use her device, she wonders if it's essential to take a course. At this stage, Doris just wants to be a part of the digital society, and she's not yet aware of the possibility the devices offer. The last and maybe most exciting friend I made at the library is Eve. For Eve, the support sessions are a safe place to go. Everything is a bit messy around her, and she has quite a lot of technical equipment. Sometimes her devices work, sometimes not. She likes to sit at the far end at one side of the table, and she knows that as a frequent visitor, she is a low priority when it comes to getting help. But it doesn't matter for Eve. Being a part of the context seems enough. Sometimes she gets there with a new smartphone or tablet. You see, when life is a little bit messy, or when a person feels insecure in the digital society, there is a risk that various offers seems attractive. You say yes to something you don't want, or fully understand the consequences of. The smartphone or tablet that was perceived to be free ends up costing thousands of kronor. At this specific support center, people get help to assess these offers, but also advice on who they can turn to if they feel that they have already been misled. This means that they meet a warm expert at this support center. I also want to say that these could have been Alfred, Bert, Kurt, David, and Eric, but the women were in majority at the support center. So there is a complex challenge to meet these different people when it comes to gain digital competence and digital self-confidence. They had different experience, different conditions, different abilities, and different needs. So, very, positive, optimistic, I should say. There is a need for warm experts, people who sees the human behind the technology. And there also a need for daily digital activity, so you don't end up in the catch-22, where everything is new when you use it. You need to be daily active to continue to be digitally inclusive. Thank you from me, Ulli Samuelsson.